Hello, my name is Elizabeth Bloodsworth, and I'm answering the 4 questions for chapters 5 and 6. So for question 1, it relates to tips for dealing with change. Identify the top 3 tips for dealing with change. The 3 I chose were, number 1, learn from previous experiences. Number 2, conduct yourself in a thoughtful and caring way during stressful times. And number 3, realize you cannot control all the elements in life. I feel like as educators, these are all 3 very important. Of course, we always learn from our previous experiences. And it kind of makes me relate to questions 3 and 4 about the, different meetings and being a facilitator, or being in a meeting where you have a facilitator, and just things that happen with parents and adults, and coworkers that you always have to adapt and learn every day as you go, even with students as well. The second one, conduct yourself in a thoughtful and caring way during stressful times. We can always do this in every aspect of life, but especially in teaching, whether it's if you're frustrated with a student or a classroom of students or parents or administrators, you always have to make sure that you handle yourself in a professional manner, in a caring way, and always be thoughtful and caring to the students, of course. Number 3, realize you cannot control all of the elements in life. This is definitely something as an educator that a lot of us like to be in control of every situation. And like for me, I'm an inclusion teacher, so a lot of times I'm not in control. It's the classroom teacher that's in control of situations, and sometimes you want to take over, but you have to kind of step back and realize that they're the classroom teacher and it's not really your place to take over. So those are all 3 definitely important to me. Number 2, looking at the 6 types of parent involvement, identify one that connects with a story. So the one that I connected with most was learning at home. Right now I'm a special education inclusion teacher. In the past, I was a ESOL teacher. So I taught mainly Spanish-speaking kids in my previous county, and this was something that was crucial, learning at home, for the ESOL community. A lot of the parents only spoke Spanish or their native language, and learning at home was something that we strive to help them with, even with homework, giving them things that they could do independently, or if they did have a parent that spoke a little bit of Spanish, something that they could understand and help with them as well. This also makes me think of parent meetings that we had, that we would have a translator and just talk to parents, not necessarily about academics, but just things at home or ways they can help their children at school, websites, anything to help them. We always had a meeting before Georgia Milestones. And so I feel like that helped the parents really connect with us, the teachers, and the school, because I know a lot of them did not have a connection with the school because they were not an English speaker. So learning at home, even for an inclusion child or a child with an IEP, just taking the time for them to just do, even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes, just something at home to kind of redirect their thoughts and, kind of build upon what you did that day at school. Number 3, an example of a meeting I've sat through where I wasn't the leader with direct leadership style, positives and cons. So this has happened throughout. I think about an assistant principal that I had in my previous county that was very by the books, very intimidating. One of the people that you felt like you couldn't really talk to, that made you nervous. Now at the current place where I teach, we have a new superintendent who is somewhat the same way. I feel like the pros the positives to that is they always, I guess most of the time you know where you stand with them. They always have their ducks in a row and there's normally no question. Some of the disadvantages is definitely making you feel a little nervous or not respected or valued, or maybe they don't see everything that goes on behind the scenes that you do. So there's definitely pros and cons to each. It also makes me think about, just not being, I guess, valued in a way that there's always an issue. There's always an email or a problem or something we could do better, when in reality, most of us are doing the best that we can. And then the last but not least, with me being the facilitator, so with my IEP meetings and my ESOL meetings that I would always have to have once a year in my previous school, I've been the facilitator for meetings on many, many, many occasions. One thing I always try to do is start on a positive note. Most of these meetings are with the parents in the conference room. Some are by phone. I try not to do that because I do like to have the parents there. But I always start on a positive note. And there's not been many, but maybe a couple situations that did not go as planned, that maybe the parent was frustrated or didn't understand, or there was something they questioned about an IEP. But for the most part, everything has been positive. And normally I have an administrator in there with me, and then of course the classroom teachers as well. And they're very supportive, and the classroom teachers, also start with something positive. And IEP meetings can be tough because the children, a lot of times, they're not on grade level. They're struggling in reading and writing, or one or the other. And they're difficult conversations. But a lot of most parents are very understanding, and everyone is respectful. And for the most part, they're very positive. The only con I would say to the meetings is if a parent is just frustrated about something, or maybe the students get made fun of. Those are always, situations you have to deal with. But for the most part, things are good and things are positive. So I had to learn how to be the facilitator. That was just something that I'm normally not very outspoken, but I've learned, you walk in a meeting with a smile on your face, you introduce everyone, and start off on a positive note, and things will definitely go well. So that's all. Thank you.